It's kind of funny. I was looking at this morning at the legislative docket for the day and stuff, and I was looking at all the ways that they're planning on raising our taxes. It's really cool. You should go in there and see what they're doing just today. My question to everybody is, are we really free if we don't control our own money? Did you know that some people actually don't even know that tax revenue is created by those who work? While we work, our elected officials find ways to tax us. And then they tell us at the end of the legislative session how much money they've saved us and where they've cut this and where they've cut that. You know, the obvious taxes like entitlement programs, urban development, income tax, property tax. But what about the law enforcement that hides behind the bushes in our free country with radar guns waiting to create revenue for the state? Or what about ITD? Installing as many surveillance cameras as possible without legislative oversight while stimulus funds pay for our road repair. I mean, that sounds great, doesn't it? Or, my favorite here, the latest, was funds to be able to train the communist Chinese now as they come to buy their citizenship, destroy our sovereignty, while they invest in our economy. Sounds wonderful for Idaho and the rest of the nation. Is this what our founders had envisioned, or is this freedom thing a thing of the past and it just feels good to say we're free when we're really not? What kind of generation will we be known as to those that look back at us? Are we going to look into our children's eyes years from now and tell them that we were too weak or too scared to fight against such oppression? The Boston Tea Party, remember, was fought. It wasn't about waving flags. They actually did something over a 3-cent tea tax, from what I understand. When are we going to finally say no more and mean it? When are we going to finally quit being fragmented little patriot groups and become united? For united we stand, divided we fall, remember? There are illegals and brainwashed Marxist progressives that burn our flag and threaten revolution in this country if their entitlement demands are not met. Can you imagine what the mainstream media would do if the peaceful Tea Party group we so-called domestic terrorists called for a revolution that was in accordance with the 3rd paragraph of the Declaration of Independence? People always tell me here in Idaho how brave I am. Since when did doing my patriotic duty before God become known as bravery? I'm glad you guys can hear me back there, by the way. I'm almost done. Do you think continuing to have these protests and electing Republican is going to yield a different result? To me, this rally really shouldn't be about taxes, but rather should be recognition and a call to repentance that we have abandoned God and become law unto ourselves. Anyone that knows history knows that when the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do, as Psalms 11:3 says. I have been waiting for a long time. Have you? For someone to step up and lead the charge, and I'm tired of waiting. Isn't it time that someone ran up the hill and stuck their flag in the ground and said no more and actually meant it? So don't be afraid to stand, for our future and our children's is at stake. Stand with me, for we are partners in freedom, not before me, or you will only be in my way, for time is surely running out. Please join me in my fight for freedom and proper representation, as I really have no choice but to run again for state legislature in 2012, because the battle can't be won alone, and I've been always told that if people can't do anything right, you've got to do it yourself. No fancy dance, no hype, and especially no bull. Really not much political correctness either, by the way. Just returning the power back to the people where it belongs under the Constitution that was written, so that we can preserve freedom and liberty for future generations. By the way, I'm not really standing before you today for myself, but for my children and for yours. Thanks.